Today we'll be talking about In the Air Tonight, the controversial story from Phil Collins, one of his greatest songs, and one that's filled with a lot of speculation and rumors. So just going to go over a few of the different ideas that have shown up over the years as to what the song's actually about. Because of some very provocative lyrics, a lot of people have been led to believe that the song is about a murder or someone having witnessed a murder. So let's just go ahead and jump right in to urban legend number 1. If you take a look at the lyrics, well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. It's easy to see why so many people think Phil actually witnessed a drowning. Or maybe he witnessed someone else committing murder and drowning someone. In the first urban legend, Phil witnessed the drowning of a man who had previously attacked his wife. Phil didn't do anything to save the man, so the man died. That's the gist of that one. Urban legend number 2 asserts that Phil saw a man drowning a person when he was a young child, but was too far away to intervene. So later on, when he got older, he hired a private investigator to track the man down. He then gave that man a free ticket to his performance, where he debuted the song the same night and shined a spotlight on the man and revealed everything to the crowd. Eminem even makes reference to this in his song Stan, when he raps, "You know the song by Phil Collins, In the Air of the Night, about that guy who could have saved that other guy from drowning, but didn't. Then Phil saw it all. Then at his show he found him." Well, Urban Legend 2 and Urban Legend 3 kind of tie in to each other, because Urban Legend 3 is sort of a variation of the second urban legend, and it claims that Phil watched as a friend did nothing to stop someone else from committing a murder. So basically someone was drowning and Phil saw it, but Phil wasn't able to save the person because he was either too drunk or too busy trying to get help. But he realized someone else was in a better position to rescue the victim, and that person still chose not to help, and so that person drowned. So instead of calling the police, he discovered who it was that watched his friend drown. And again, same sort of conclusion. He gave that person a pair of tickets to a concert and exposed them in front of everybody. So what's the real meaning behind the song? Well, these are some pretty fantastic tales. However, none of them are even close to being true, unfortunately. In reality, the song is about Phil's divorce from his first wife. So in 1980, he was going through that divorce, and he channeled his emotions about that into the song. The song debuted on his first solo record, Face Value, in 1981. A lot of the songs were written about his divorce at the time. He was hoping that his wife would hear the songs and want to get back with him, but supposedly that didn't help, and it even backfired a little bit on him. When asked about the song, Collins has said, "It's so frustrating because this is one song out of all the songs probably that I've ever written that I really don't know what it's about, you know?" And with a BBC World Service interview, he said, "I don't know what this song is about. When I was writing this, I was going through a divorce, and the only thing I can say about it is that it's obviously in anger. It's the angry side or the bitter side of a separation. So what makes it even more comical is when I hear these stories, which started many years ago, particularly in America, with someone come up to me and say, 'Did you really see someone drowning?' I said, 'No, wrong.' And then every time I go back to America, it gets more and more elaborate. It's so frustrating because this is one song out of all the songs probably that I've ever written that I really don't know what it's about, you know?" So during the time of the divorce, Collins bought a drum machine specifically to use when writing songs that dealt with the issues he was going through. And he said, "I had to start writing some of this music that was inside me." And during a songwriting session in the studio, he made up the lyrics for the song on the spot. He said, "I was just fooling around. I got these chords that I liked, so I turned the mic on and started singing. The lyrics you hear are what I wrote spontaneously, and that frightens me a bit, but I'm quite proud of the fact that I sang 99.9% of those lyrics." Now, there is one interesting exception to this urban legend, and that is that he did actually perform the song on TV and tried to send a message to someone, and that person being his ex-wife. There was a performance by Phil on Top of the Pops that is rather legendary in its own right. After learning that his ex-wife was seeing a painter and decorator, Phil played the song while sitting at a workbench with a paint can and a paintbrush nearby. So clearly this was an attempt to make a statement to her. Collins said he used the bench to hold his keyboard and just got the idea when he was backstage and saw a paintbrush and a can of paint in the dressing room, but his ex-wife saw it and she wasn't too fond of it. She said, "I felt sick and betrayed. I knew straight away it was a message to me." So throughout the 80s, the song gained a ton of popularity and Phil's solo work became more popular too. At one point, he was featured on Miami Vice, which was a very popular show at the time and really set a lot of trends in fashion and the aesthetic of the 80s. And on their pilot episode called Brother's Keeper, the detectives Crockett and Tubbs are seen driving through the streets of Miami at night in a Ferrari, and In the Air can be heard playing in the background. It's one of the show's best known scenes. And then Collins actually did some acting on an episode of the show in season 2. He ended up playing a con artist in an episode called Phil the Shill, which just cracks me up. And we can't really talk about this song without talking about that infamous drum fill. In the 80s, there was a lot of this technique called gated reverb, and it just makes the drum sound huge. This song definitely features a ton of that. And even Ozzy Osbourne has said that the drum fill in the song is the best ever, and that it still sounds great to this day. A music critic and radio host named Stuart McConey has said this: "Musically, it's an extraordinarily striking record because almost nothing happens in it. It's the drum sound in particular that's amazing. You don't hear it at all for the first 2 minutes of the song. Then there's that great do-dum, da-dum, da-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum that comes in, and the drums come in halfway through the song, setting the template for all the 80s drum songs after that." Collins' drum sound on this recording has long been a mystery, as has the method he used to create it. But actually, the specific method was a result of a happy accident, with studio equipment being put to unexpectedly good use. Basically, a mixing engineer found that a unique sound came from a part of the mixing board they were using, and they accidentally turned on a feature and said, "That sounds great," and then the rest is history. So hopefully no one's too sad that the song's not actually about a real murder or any sort of unsolved mystery like that. I know when I hear the song, I kind of picture a bit of a crime novel in my own mind. So I'm with you on, speculating what the song could be about. It's always intrigued me. And, the fact that it's about his divorce, I guess I wasn't really expecting that, but it makes sense. Well, do you believe Phil? Do you think his story is true, or did he actually witness a murder? Let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me once again. Please be sure to leave a review. It really helps. And I'll see you next time.